What's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to go over my Stamina Templar build that I'm going to be running next patch in the Flames of Ambition. So this is for no proc PvP. I don't recommend running this in Battlegrounds or Imperial City, simply because they have proc sets enabled. So you can definitely have a wide variety of sets there, but in no proc PvP, you're really consolidated on using a few amount of sets. But before we get started, I do want to plug something real fast, and this is awkward for me, so just bear with me. But if you guys enjoy my work and want to support me further, I just recently made a Patreon. There are many perks that you guys can get, like early access to my videos, exclusive unreleased videos that is not going to be on YouTube. And for my highest tier, I'm going to be doing giveaways, gold giveaways, chapters or DLCs, in-game costumes like the Timber Crow, the Gladiator outfit, or the Clockwork Creator. Also, you guys can get build advice and direct assistance from me to help you guys with your builds. For example, maybe if you're lower CP and don't have access to a lot of sets and you want to know the best build that you can make for the stuff that you have. That's kind of what that's for. Or any, kind of niche setup and you want my opinion on it. So the links will be down in the description below if you guys want to support me there. So honestly, what this can do is this can help propel me to be able to stream for you guys. So if you guys are interested in that, I do appreciate any support and I'm thankful for it. So without further ado, let's get right into the build. So for my race, I am an Imperial. I think it's going to be the best race for Templar next patch. Imperial reduces the cost of all of your abilities. So this includes ultimates, magicka skills, and stamina skills. So this helps Templar sustain out so much. Also, they get 2,000 stamina and 2,000 health. They may not get weapon damage, but having this 6% cost reduction reduces the cost of your ultimate. So this definitely could really help for your damage and to be able to get ult out faster. Also, the 2,000 health isn't too shabby. There's no other race that I think of that can give you 2,000 health. This is the only one. So that definitely makes you really, really tanky. And honestly, next patch, I think having a decent amount of health pool is going to be needed to kind of mitigate all the damage that I've been hearing. But we'll definitely have to see how that goes on console. And we get 2,000 stamina. You can't go wrong with this. This just obviously increases your stats. Other races that would probably work, obviously Orc is going to be decent. It's going to give you a lot of weapon damage. Dark Elf could be very, very good. That's more of a glass cannon type of build. It doesn't get any health. Wood Elf could be decent as well, even though it got kind of adjusted and nerfed a little bit. It could be pretty decent with the penetration. Basically any race works. Even High Elf could work on a Templar, but the only race I really wouldn't suggest is going to be a Breton. I don't think they're really that good. They have the worst stats for stamina builds, so definitely don't go Breton. But any other race works. Khajiit, all of them. So for my food, I'm using the Artame Takeaway Broth. This is going to be the best food for stamina builds. You can use Dubious Cameron Throne if you want to, but Artame is going to be the best. And for my Mundus Stone, we're using the Serpent. That's going to be the best Mundus Stone. Pound for pound, this gives you the most resources than any other Mundus Stone in the game. So we definitely need to sustain as well. So definitely grab the Serpent. So let's get into the stat sheet real fast. So let's buff up a little bit. So hit our armor buff and just rally. And let's get our major savagery going. So front bar, this is just chilling stats. We have 2k stamina recovery, 5.7k weapon damage, 33k stamina. We have, what was our critical? 34% basically. Definitely pretty decent stats. 33k stam isn't too bad. 27.4k health, 15.4k magic. Our resistances are, on our front bar, 20,834 and 23,000 on our spell resistance. And on our back bar, we have 25k and basically 23k. If we're in our rune, we get 25.8 and 28k spell resistance. So not too bad. So let's check out fully buffed real fast. So we hit our potion, we got our rune focus, we got rally, and we got jabs. So we got 2,400 stam recovery, 5.7k weapon damage. We do have some hefty penetration. We have 13,000 right here just chilling, and we definitely have a lot more. So we have some insane pen. Recovery is very, very decent. Also, keep in mind, our stam recovery is actually higher because of restoring focus. So we definitely have like close to 3,000 stam recovery. So because you have to add in the rune focus, this gives you, so recovery is calculated every 2 seconds. So this gives us 240 stamina every second. So you multiply that times 2, that gives you 480. And then you add the 480 to the 2,435. So that gives you right about 2,800, 2,900 stamina recovery. So that's it for the buff stat sheet. Not too bad stats. So let's check out the gear. So for the front bar, we are using Spriggans. This is going to give us a lot of penetration. This is really going to help jabs. You definitely need to have a lot of pen because jabs is really your main DPS for PvP. Powerful Light sucks, so you definitely have to basically increase your pen by a lot. Spriggans on our back bar as well. I looked at agility versus Spriggans, so I tested this, and Spriggans gives you more healing from the 4 piece of weapon damage whenever you have your buffs up and stuff, and it also will increase the damage of your light attacks and your ransack. So it's going to be better than agility. So for my monster set, I'm running a one piece crag. This is going to give you a lot of physical penetration, which is really going to help your jabs. We have a 1 piece stonekeeper. This is going to give us tri-stat resources. And then for the body, so I had explained this in a previous video. You actually do get the weapon damage from the 5 piece of Oblivion. This is called Oblivion Edge. So this is better than Hunting's Rage. So Hunting's Rage gives you a total of 300 weapon damage. This gives you a total of 387 weapon damage. So this is better than Hunting's Rage. So since crit chance got nerfed from Hunting's Rage, I feel like the stamina recovery is way better. You may lose out on the stamina bonus that Hunting's gives though, but the extra weapon damage scaling with Templar's passive weapon damage bonus is honestly better in my opinion. So that's all for that. And then for the jewelry, we have Spriggans as well. So trait wise, I know I have recommended great sword, sharpening great swords on most of my other stamina classes and builds, but Stamplar is a little bit different. So let me kind of explain. So Stamplar, for the skill wise, we just have jabs, okay? Jabs and executioner and binding javelin, okay? And obviously Dawnbreaker. So this is the only skill that really does a lot of damage that we have. This is your main spammable. This is basically the only skill that you're going to hit. Power of the Light sucks. Since the addition to the Sundered status effect, Power of the Light is absolutely terrible. There's really no point in using it because you're going to proc the Minor Breach anyways. So, and it's just really hard to keep up. So I wish Stamplar had a dot or a revamp of this skill in general to make it somewhat viable. Like even if it's like a Solar Barrage for stamina, that would be cool. But it is what it is. So that's why we're using a sharpened maul here, just to give us as much damage as possible. So we're getting 3,300 penetration from the mace on the bottom, as you'll see, 3,300. And then we're also getting 3,276 from the sharpened trait, and they're also getting 3,460 from Spriggan. So we're getting a lot of penetration from just this alone to help us, kill a lot of tankier targets. So I definitely think it's the best for Stamplar. You could definitely try a great sword if you want. It's up to you, but I think Maul is going to be the best for this specific build. I think it's personally the best. On our back bar, we're running Powered. This is going to be the best trait for healing. And then for our shield, this is Reinforced to give us as much armor as possible. Also, for my enchant on the front bar, I think this is going to be one of the better enchants. This is going to proc the Sundered status effect more often, so you can keep the Minor Breach going. Basically, the Sundered status effect procs from physical damage that you deal, so that really applies to everything that Stamplar has with jabs, with Binding Javelin, Executioner, Dawnbreaker. So you're definitely going to keep this up a lot, and you'd want to keep it up pretty much as possible. So we're running the Escapist Poisons. This is going to be the better poisons, I think. You could run a weapon damage enchant here. You could run really anything you want, but I feel like having the extra CC immunity is going to be nice. So for my gear, I have tri-stack glyphs on the big pieces and stamina glyphs on the smalls. So we're running 6-1. This is just to get a little bit more health. I feel like for Stamplar, you definitely want a little bit more HP. You're a little bit of a beefier class, so you definitely want to have more health and resistances on Stamplar. Trait-wise, we have Reinforced on the head, the heavy head. We have Reinforced on the medium chest, Reinforced on the medium pants. We have N-Pen and N-Pen, so we have 2 pieces of N-Pen with 2 well-fitted. So it's 3 Reinforced, 2 well-fitted, 2 N-Pen. I feel like it's going to give you the most broad amount of stats. You could definitely take off these well-fitted if you want to put a little bit more points into N-Pen. That's up to you. But I want to have a little bit more cost reduction to my roll dodge and sprint and just get a wide variety of stats. So for my jewelry, all infused, all weapon damage. This is going to be the best. You can run robust if you want, but Templar specifically scales the best with their weapon damage passive that they have. So that's why I'm running this. So for my skills, obviously you guys have seen them a lot since I've been, kind of swapping in between. But we have Executioner. This is your execute. You definitely want this on Stamplar. Just spamming jabs isn't enough. So next we have Rally. This is your weapon brutality buff, your extra stamina recovery, and a big heal. So this skill is just a must on any stamina class. We have Javelin next. So this is your kind of your flex spot a little bit. You can use toppling charge if you want. It's up to you. But since we have the extra damage to off-balance targets removed from the champion point system, honestly, I don't see a point in running this anymore. So I really don't like this anymore. I mean, you could definitely run it with Imperial, obviously having the cost reduction, but I think just having more damage from the Javelin is going to be better. Next, this is your flex spot again. So I'm using channel acceleration for the speed and the crit damage bonus. You can run kind of whatever you want here. You can run Power of Light if you'd like. You can run Crit Rush, you can run Cleave. You can even use, if you want to keep up Major Savagery up more often, you could use Camo Hunter and to get the Minor Berserk. That's really up to you. But this is your flex spot. I think this is going to be better. Also, I like this because I get the block bonus from the Sijic skill line, from the concentrated barrier. But that's, you know, all personal preference. So jabs, bread and butter. This gives you weapon crit and just AoE damage. It does hit decently hard to one person, but I think they should change this to deal more damage to other people around them. It shouldn't be that much damage loss for hitting jabs, because you have other skills like Impulse that deal all of the damage in an AoE. So honestly, I think they should really change this, but you know, that's kind of just my opinion. So next we have Dawnbreaker, bread and butter ultimate. You can definitely try Empowering Sweep if you'd like. It could be better. I sometimes switch in between to either of these because, you know, sometimes Dawnbreaker, I'm just not having a good day using Dawnbreaker because of the cast time, and Empowering Sweep costs a lot less than Dawnbreaker. So that's, again, personal preference. But as you'll see here, the cost of my Dawnbreaker is 112. So this is from the Templar passive that gets 5% cost reduction to all of their ultimates, and then also Imperial stacks on top of that as well. On our back bar, we are using Ransack. I definitely suggest this because we have a lot of penetration, and the reason why we're not using the other morph is because of the Sundered status effect. So definitely, you don't need that really. I would rather have the minor protection up more often. Obviously, jabs gives you minor protection. This is just going to keep it up more consistently when we need it. You can run a bow back here if you want, and not even run Ransack because we have a lot of penetration. But I feel like this is going to give us a lot more tankiness. So to add up all the penetration we have, as you'll see here, we have basically 12,000. We have 12,923. So you want to add about 6,000. Basically, that's 6,000. So that goes up to 18,923. And then for the Sundered status effect, which procs the Minor Breach, that's going to bump us up to basically 22k penetration. So as you'll see here, my build has buffed up with armor buff 20,000 physical resistance. So we're overpinning on my own build that I'm fighting. So basically it's just like having no armor. And on my back bar, basically have 800 armor. So yeah, we're basically hitting really, really hard with this. And people in light armor will have similar resistances to this, or a little bit less. But if you're fighting somebody that's in heavy armor with like fortified brass, you definitely want this much penetration. So Extended Ritual, this is your Purge. This thing is so awesome on Templar. This is why we go Imperial, is to reduce the cost of the skill so we can, you know, use it more often. Shuffle, this is going to be an amazing skill next patch. So this gives us 6 seconds of snare immunity for our armor buff. Obviously, Restoring Focus, this needs no introduction. This thing's amazing. Gives you sustain, gives you resistances, and it costs stamina. And it's very, very cheap. So can't go wrong with this. Now we have Resolving Vigor. This is your main healing over time. This definitely pairs very, very well with Extended Ritual to make you tankier. And then for a backbar ultimate, we are using Spell Wall. This is going to give you a lot of damage mitigation, especially if you're taking a lot of heat. You can't go wrong with this. You could use, you know, the healing ultimate if you'd like. You could use the Sijic, take away, whatever, undo. Since we have the minor protection already, we might as well go with this morph. Basically when we're stunned, we can, you know, use this and get out of dodge real fast, and basically teleport. Whenever you're stunned, even if you're stunned, you know, you can move. So, I mean, this skill is so cool. Takes you right back up. It is buggy though sometimes, but it definitely is a good skill nonetheless. So that's all for the skills. So let's get into the champion point system. So a few people have asked me to, you know, kind of explain which CP is more valuable and which ones you should invest into first. So let's go over the slottables. So we have Endless Endurance and Untamed Aggression. We have Biting Aura. and we have Wrathful Strikes. This is give us the most amount of damage possible. You can definitely, the one I would drop, I would not drop the Biting R. This is just too valuable to increase your jabs and your Dawnbreaker. You could technically drop this Wrathful Strikes if you wanted to for a little bit more critical resistance, but I'm going full damage. I want to see how this is going to work. Obviously, if I feel like I'm too squishy, I will drop this one and go into more in-pen, but that's just, you know, personal preference. So for the passive that you need the most, it's going to be definitely put points into Tireless Discipline first. Make your way this way to Extended Might. Max this one out. Max this one out, and max this one out as fast as possible. If you have low amount of champion points, just put about 10 points into here. Put as minimum amount of points as you need just to get this passive to increase your damage, and then backfill after you get more champion points. So once you get that one maxed out all the way, you want to come down here to the Staving Death, put 10 points into here, and then you want to mitigate extra physical damage first, and then go into Elemental Aegis next. You can 50-50 these, you know, put 20 points here, 20 points here. And then once you fill up all of these, you can definitely put some points into here. And then I would come this way to get the Precision, and then I would go to Eldritch Insight. So if you have low champion points and you got all of those, put only 10 points into here, and then get this maxed out first, and then go back into Eldritch Insight. This is probably the last one that I suggest maxing out on Stamplar. I mean, it's your off-stat resource. We have enough cost reduction that you'll be okay, but having an extra 1000 magic isn't going to kill you. So that is all for the blue tree. For the red tree, for my slaughterables, it's Boundless Vitality, Ironclad, Unchained, and Rejuvenation. These are probably the best ones. You could maybe drop the Unchained for more damage reduction if you'd like, but that's, you know, again, all personal preference. So for my passives that are the most important, it's going to be Defiance, and then go into Tumbling, and then put 10 points into here to get to Hero's Vigor, and then put as minimum amount of points you have to here to get to Tireless Guardian. So that's the most important ones is Tireless Guardian, Hero's Vigor, Tumbling, and Defiance. And then after that, basically just backfill. I would do increase the amount of damage you can block, and then I would go into Nimble Protector, Savage Defense, and then you can kind of work your way back towards these. You actually don't need a lot of champion points to be maxed out in PvP. You need about 1800 champion points. So it won't take you guys long to get that much anyways, because that's where the curve is accelerated to. So it definitely is going to be a lot easier than you guys think when this goes live. So for the green tree, we have Breakfall and Steadfast Enchantment. These are the main passives that I would suggest getting. Everything else in this tree is really not that great. It's all PvE focused, except for a few things like a Rationer is nice, Liquid Efficiency, Steed's Blessing, and the Gifted Rider. Those are my slaughterables. They help in PvP, but aren't a must. The best ones are obviously the Breakfall and the Steadfast Enchantment for the passives. But that is all for the champion point system. So my thoughts on Stamplar. So with the addition to the Sundered status effect, this definitely helps for a few reasons. Nobody really ran Power of the Light anyways. It's an okay skill. It definitely does a lot of damage, but it's just too nuanced to keep up. And you really only use it for the Minor Breach when that got buffed. But when they added the Sundered status effect, you definitely don't need this anymore because you're going to proc this a lot. So basically, let me show you. I mean, I'll just show you how often it procs. So we're just going to jab. It's already procced. See the debuff on his screen? So yeah. Let's see if it procs again. Just a jab, jab. There it is again. So you have that with Major Breach now. And it's procced again already. So we're going to have a lot of penetration, guys. Like, just a ton. Everything the Sampler does is physical damage. So you're going to be proccing this a lot. And with the enchantment on top of that, it's going to be proccing very, very often. So, Sampler, I feel like kind of an indirect buff and nerf in a sense. They definitely need to rework Power of the Light, though. Definitely. To something like Solar Barrage. Like this thing right here. This should have a stamina version. It does like AoE, gives you Empower. This should have a stamina version, but it doesn't. So they should change this Power of the Light to something else. Well, that's just my opinion. But that's it for my Stamplar build. I hope this helps you guys get set up next patch in the Flames of Ambition. And that's it for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.